You know what they say, quantity's better than quality. You don't normally hear that, do you? It's normally the other way around. Of course, quality is better, right? Well, actually it turns out it's not quite so straightforward. In fact, there's a lot of debate on what the right balance is. And so after spending a lot of time looking into this and testing various things, I want to give you 3 points that will answer this question once and for all. Before we get into that though, I just want to clarify that when I say social media in this video, I'm really talking about business media. Because social media is what we use as individuals, and in that case there's a strong argument you shouldn't spend too long or post loads of things, as the effects are often more negative than positive. But when I refer to social media in this video and most of the time on this channel, what I'm normally talking about is business media, which is still talking about the same platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and so on, but there's a clear and productive objective behind using it. Because when it comes to building a personal brand or growing any sort of business, there probably isn't anyone who wouldn't benefit from regularly posting. In fact, I think everyone can agree that making content for social media is an incredibly effective way to get traffic and make more sales. It's free marketing that anyone can do. And so if you're viewing it as business media rather than social media, and using it with a clear objective, then it's undeniably a good idea. The question is simply, how much should you post? And how much should you focus on quality rather than quantity? Because there has to be some trade-off between the two, right? Well, point number 1, you can be a Leonardo DiCaprio movie or an Adam Sandler movie. Both work. With Leo, in the last 5 years, he's only been in 2 movies, both huge, epic, unique films. With Adam Sandler, there's been a lot more movies. And look, this isn't a criticism at all, but I think most people can agree the quality of those movies isn't comparable to Leo's. But here's the thing, both are very popular in their own way. There's demand for both. Both work. And I think the analogy helps explain why there's so much disagreement over quality versus quantity. Because some people have great results posting really regularly, following the same formula every time, and so they conclude that quantity is the answer. But equally, there are some people who have great results posting much less frequently, and really pour in lots of time and effort into every piece of content, and of course, that does really well too, so they conclude that quality is the answer. I see both working. It comes down to which suits you and your audience best. For example, for building a personal brand, it might be better if you're showing up really regularly so people get to know you and trust you more. But if you're trying to build a brand for a luxury product, maybe spending extra time to make a really unique piece of content could work better. And so I really don't think there's a right or wrong here, as some people have success going quantity heavy, some people have success going quality heavy. But, point number 2. There's a point of diminishing returns for both quality and quantity. For example, if you listened to that first point and thought, okay great, I'm going to post 10 YouTube videos a day, well, calm down. It is very unlikely that in a single day you can produce 10 videos that are good enough that your audience would actually want to watch them. At that point, you'd just be churning out videos for the sake of it, and as a result, people probably aren't going to watch them at all. So, it's about finding that sweet spot where it's still good enough that the majority of the audience want to watch. Likewise though, if you were going the high quality route, don't get into that state of perfectionism where you say you're going to make the best video imaginable, because you'll end up over obsessing on little details that people don't even care about, which will just delay you ever getting content out at all. So, it's not as binary as quality or quantity. You can focus slightly more on one or the other depending on which suits you and your audience better, but there's a cutoff point for both where it stops being effective. There always has to be some trade-off between the two, and you just have to do a little bit of trial and error to find what that sweet spot is. For example, if you start increasing the quantity and your engagement isn't dropping, well, keep increasing the quantity until it does. It's all about really watching your analytics and statistics so you can make an informed decision on what's working, rather than just assuming you know what your audience wants. Which brings us to point number 3. Quality is subjective and not based solely on production value. When we hear quality, we often think in terms of the production levels, right? Expensive cameras and microphones and so on, but quality is very subjective, which is how it's possible to have both quality and quantity. Now, I'm not going to tell you equipment doesn't matter at all, because it does a bit. But generally, when we're talking about the quality of a piece of content, we're more talking about the value it gives us. I'd rather a 2-minute video filmed on an iPhone that really changes my perspective on something than a long video with really advanced editing and a fancy camera that doesn't have a useful or meaningful message. In fact, I've heard some people say that their less edited content, the stuff that's more raw, actually sometimes does better because people find it more genuine and authentic. So look, if you can put out a lot of content but the audience feels the quality of your message is high, well then technically you can have both high quality and high quantity. Again, your analytics and stats will tell you what you need to know, so start experimenting to find the perfect sweet spot for you and your audience. Now, on a very related note, I want to invite you to join me for the 30 for 30 challenge. YouTube viewing statistics in December apparently are typically higher because people have a bit more time to watch stuff. So join me in committing to posting for 30 days straight starting December 1st, and then New Year's Eve you can go and celebrate finishing. Even if you don't want to do it for YouTube, if Instagram's your main platform, commit to 30 posts throughout December on Instagram. And even if you're not watching this, at the time I'm posting this video, you can still do this challenge at any point. It's just about testing this all out. The only exception is if your main platform's Twitter, then you should probably commit to posting more than once a day, as it's a lot easier to post on Twitter more often. But the point is, comment below if you're in for this challenge and we'll hold each other accountable. I'll report my own results at the end of it all to give you an idea what effect it had, if any at all. For now though, my call to action for you today is a little bit different, and that is to check out the first link in the description of this video to join the Young Magnates VIP list. Here's the deal, it's not some spammy newsletter, I just want to be able to directly message true fans of this channel whenever I learn something really important that I don't want to share anywhere else. It's sort of like the inner circle for Young Magnates, and if you're still watching at this point, I'd love for you to be a part of that. So check out that link in the description, and you'll hear from me next time I've got something really exciting to share. Cheers.